sisters endure racist bullying as school staff does nothing. Because, it's not in our contract or something. Idaho family has sued in this instance. A school district, they allege, has blatantly ignored multiple complaints regarding racism and discrimination that two sisters suffered at their local high school. The Hodge family sued the West Ada School District, district superintendent, and Ada County for violating the constitutional rights of two Black students and fostering and permitting a hostile educational environment at Eagle High School, which included racial harassment, bullying, and discrimination. The parents of two sisters identified in the lawsuit as Jaeyden and A.H. filed an amended lawsuit on December 27th on behalf of their daughters. Now, I love children. I don't understand how people have no empathy. And it shouldn't be about the way they look, but all children to me look innocent and sweet. And I look at these sisters and I think, why are you targeting them? Why would you be targeting these beautiful young spirits? I don't get it. But then I'm not a racist. I'm not. The complaint alleges that both daughters endured rampant, toxic, racist behavior from their peers since 2021, and that the teachers and faculty members exhibited indifference to the harmful conduct. The suit states that both A.H. and Jaeyden were subjected to racial slurs and humiliation from school staff and students, and that their peers openly called both girls racial epithets in school hallways and classrooms without fear of discipline. There it is. The complaint also alleges that school administrators were well aware of these incidents, yet failed to investigate or remediate them. Just showed up, took a check, and decided to get uber racist. That's what it looks like. Suit also mentioned two teachers who engaged in behavior that made the girls targets for more bullying and harassment. One teacher falsely accused A.H. of taking nude photos in a school restroom and broadcasted those accusations to an entire class of students, which subjected A.H. to verbal attacks and isolation by her peers, the Hodges claim. Claim says another teacher also made repeated and inappropriate use of racial slurs in his classroom, which emboldened other students to engage in similar behavior. I wonder what an appropriate use of a racial slur would be. Never mind. Hodge family repeatedly urged the school administration in 2021 and 2022 to enforce action. Enforce, you heard that? Enforce. Just enforce what's on the books. To stop the harassment, according to the suit. Family alleges that when A.H. and Jaeyden made their complaints known to a school resource officer, that officer told them to, quote, just ignore it, adding that the school year was almost over. Just ignore it. There's going to be plenty of white parties and stuff you'll go to, and lemonade stands, kids. Let it go. Why are you so sensitive? That resource officer is contracted to work at the school through a partnership with the Ada County Sheriff's Office. Do you see how far this goes? The tentacles are everywhere. He's actually a law enforcement officer. Now, the parents also requested Eagle High's assistant principal and the West Ada district superintendent discipline the offending students and staff and establish anti-discrimination policies. However, neither leader took meaningful steps to address the family's concerns, which allowed the harassment to persist, the complaint states. Now, here's the district superintendent, Dr. Derek Bubb. I like your hairline. I don't much care for his. Okay, Moss. He looks like a goober. And it's something like this. You mentioned not long ago that it's teaching kids that they can get away with this behavior because they can. You are perpetuating this American entrenched systemic ignorance by saying, do whatever you want. They're Black, actually, so you're good. They not like us. You're good to keep going. So what do we do with this one in Idaho, Moss?
Well, this one shows us that, as you said at the beginning, that this is not an isolated incident, that it keeps happening and all over the country. And Eagle High sounds like a miserable place. And once again, it's this idea of top down. There's got to be zero tolerance for this. I don't understand how we are in 2025 now, and these people that are the educators are not evolved enough to understand the damage that this type of stuff does to these young minds. And I'm sure there's again these people that are reading these things from the outside and going, "Oh, these kids got to toughen up. Back in my day, we used to call each other this and that. We used to do this and that." That doesn't make it right that you used to do this and that, and that you called each other this and that. And also think about all the damage that that's caused you, that you need to go pay a therapist for to deal with, because there were not people looking out for you when you were younger. So rather than continuing the cycle, we need to break the cycle, and we need to evolve, and we need to hold these schools accountable, and we need to hold the leaders accountable, and they need to set a top-down zero tolerance policy for this kind of talk and this kind of language, and also take seriously anytime anyone comes in from, and tells you about something that is, damaging them in some way. Sometimes I think also staff and administration don't take the kids seriously. As you said in one of those the things you were reading, someone said, "I'll just let it go. Just move on." No, don't just move on. Don't let it go, because you're damaging two people. You're damaging the victim, who is coming to you and telling you what she is enduring, and you're also damaging the future of the perpetrator of this racism, because they get away with it, and they will continue to try to get away with it until somebody punches them in the mouth.
Yeah, until they get that first consequence, which will shock the system. Some never get it, but shock the system. And just like I previously, again, this is just how my mind works. I talked about the vehicles that law enforcement use going down the street, just with that megaphone, shout these messages to deprogram these racists. Sometimes I think, well, maybe blacks, as Trump would say, across the country, black and brown should join, maybe a class action suit. Take it to all those black women judges that Joe Biden pushed through. Okay? He was mentally fit to do that, you see. Okay. He got that done, didn't he? Let's take some dramatic and drastic measures here.